Okay, today's morning medicines, they're smaller ones. Hepatica triloba, which is called liverwort. I think I got that in the herbal book over there. And then Heracleum sphondylium. Heracleum sphondylium, which is hogweed. Yeah, hogweed. I don't know why I don't have it in this herbal book, but let's see what hepatica is. And they say it's liver leaf because they say apparently that point because the liver comes to a point. So they say that leaf looks like a point, like the liver. Let's see. American Indians use the leaf tea for liver ailments, poor indigestion, laxative. Externally as a wash for swollen breasts. In folk tradition, tea used for fevers, liver ailments, coughs, thought to be mildly astringent, a demulcent, a diuretic, a liver tonic, boom resuited. What the heck is that? Boom resulted in the consumption of 450. Oh, there was a boom of this stuff. 450,000 pounds of the dried leaves, domestic and imported in 1883 alone. So, yeah, it's that's sharp lobe. Yeah, there's a couple of them here. Then similar to that one, the lobes rounded flowers. Okay, it doesn't say nothing there. But anyways, that's a lot of diuretic, astringent, breast swollen, laxative, indigestion, liver ailments. So definitely a liver remedy, and that's basically the doctrine of signatures. You look at a hawthorn berry, and it almost looks like a heart. That berry is red and it looks like a heart, and it is good for the heart. So I don't think I have hogweed. I tried to look it up, but it didn't show it in. I guess because it's poisonous. When it's poisonous, like hogweed, you cannot. They don't use it for medicine because it's not very viable for that. So, Hepatica triloba, liverwort, and then Heracleum sphondylium. I think that's why you say that, sucker. Hepatica is an ancient remedy which received its name from a fancied resemblance of its leaves to the shape of the liver. All our definite, all our definite knowledge of it began with an experiment made by Dr. D.G. Kimball, who chewed the leaves every day for a chronic irritation of the throat and lungs. So, definitely good for throat and lungs, I guess. A few symptoms were produced, and the symptoms he complained of were removed notably. So, the throat and lungs, it went away. Tickling irritation in the throat and sensation about epiglottis as of particles of food remaining. So if there's a tickling and irritation in the throat and it feels like the food doesn't go down, it's still there. Accumulation of viscid, tenacious phlegm, lots of mucus, with frequent hawking. Always, hawking is, trying to get that up. Hopefully I did that well. Lungs became much stronger and digestion more perfect. So it helped with the digestion, which that's what it said in the herbal book. So what happens is the herbalists are using it. The homeopaths take it and they make a homeopathic remedy out of it, and then they give it back to the or they do a proving of it. They make the homeopathic remedy, then they start giving it to a group of people, and they see what kind of healthy people that aren't sick, and they start giving it until the symptoms come on. They'll see the digestive symptoms, throat symptoms, things like that. They'll write that down. They'll say, "Yep, we confirmed what they've been using it for herbally, and we found some other uses for it." They'll find some other symptoms that people come on, because the basic principle of homeopathic medicine is what a substance will do to a healthy person, it will heal in a person that has those same symptoms with some illness. So, no matter what it's coming from. All right, let's do this. Hepatica triloba, liver remedy, pharyngeal catarrh with tickling and irritation of the throat. So the pharynx has a lot of mucus in it. There's tickling and that rawness, that irritation. It says scraping and rough sensation. That's 3, and that's of the throat. Sensation of epiglottis, as if the particles of food remain. So they can feel the epiglottis. You shouldn't feel a part of your body unless there's a problem, then you'll feel it. So they're feeling that thing that hangs down in the back there. Pretty sure that's what that is. As if, and then the other sensation they have is that as if particles of food remain. So they always feel like there's something hanging around in their throat. Yesterday's medicine, what the heck was that medicine yesterday? I look at so many medicines. Hepatic. Hepatic has feels like a splinter in the throat. So, this is, that's all that stuff is so valuable for a homeopath to figure out what medicine you need. Sensitive to light, that should be in the eyes. Itching and smarting in the eyes, slightly agglutinated in the morning. So they're stuck together in the morning. They have smarting, itching, and they're very sensitive to light. Nothing in here. So this medicine may need some more proving. I don't know. Bronchitis with circumcised pneumonia. What is that? When they do an x-ray of the lungs, the whole area is black. So it circumcises. It's circles. It's basically a circle is what it's supposed to be, but it's the whole area is like dark. So there's a lot of mucus. Pneumonia, bronchitis. Sputa is bloody, purulent, and profuse. So I don't remember them saying, sorry, I don't remember them saying in here that it was externally a tea for liver ailments, poor digestion, laxative, externally as a wash, breast, swollen breast, teas for fevers. That could be the whole thing. Oh, liver ailments with cough and coughs, thought to be mildly astringent. So it does have coughs and fevers in there, but it doesn't seem to have the bronchitis, the pneumonia. Maybe they weren't describing it when they were using it back then like this. Doesn't say lung stuff. Let's put it that way. Sputa and also the throat stuff. I don't see nothing about the throat stuff. So sputa, bloody, purulent, profuse. So there's blood coming up with the bronchitis and the pneumonia. When you see blood, you're always looking at it like a tubercular miasm, which tuberculinum could be considered. There's a few other ones that have, and it's called hemoptysis, which you're spitting up blood. Yellow, creamy, and exceedingly sweet mucus. Your mucus can be sour, sweet. It can have different vicinity of it, or flow. It could be thin, it could be thick, it could be yesterday's Hepatic is great when it's thick. That and Calibic is great when it's thick and you can't pull it out of the throat. It's very hard and it's very thick and lumpy. You would consider that Hepatic and Calibic. This one would be yellow, creamy, and exceedingly sweet. And you would consider Hepatica Triloba. Pain and congestion in the right chest. Annoying irritation of fauces. That's just throat stuff again. Free, easy expectoration. So the mucus is coming up. It's yellow, creamy, sweet. There's blood in it. And it can be in bronchitis, pneumonia, a flu, a cold, whatever. But you got bronchitis, pneumonia coming on, or you're having it. This is one of the medicines that you would consider. There's a bunch of them for that. Bloody mucus frequently blows left nostril. So the left nostril is more affected. That would help you to determine between a couple medicines. The other ones may be right nostril. The other ones may be left and right. It doesn't make a difference. So, and there's a periodicity. 3 to 4 days long, they would have this bloody mucus coming out of the left nostril. Soreness at the end of the nose and the entrance. So there's a soreness there. It doesn't say scabs or anything, but it definitely sore. Stomach, digestion more perfect. Now, the herbal book said about that it's for the digestion, so that's why it says, if you're having digestive problems, Hepatica Triloba can help that. And that probably has to do with the liver, being it's a great liver remedy. Okay, so the throat, right? Yeah. Okay, let's start here. Rough scraping in the throat, irritative tickling, sensation in the throat and fauces with scraping, constant scraping. Worse, eating. So when they eat, and that might be why they feel like there's food stuck in there, or in inhaling dust. So dust, eating, all makes it worse, and there's a scraping sensation in the fauces in the throat. Rough scraping in the throat, irritative tickling, pharyngeal catarrh, a lot of mucus in the pharynx, with profuse serous expectation and hoarseness. So they got hoarseness with all this throat stuff going on in a bronchitis, pneumonia, cold, flu, maybe even a COVID, depending on what's going on there. There's definitely some medicines that are directed towards COVID more than, they were using arsenicum and a few other ones that help people get through that COVID. I used antimonium tart. That's a great lung remedy. It keeps it out of your lungs, keeps it from your lungs from filling up. All right, let's see what Hale has to say. Comments. Hale, a homeopath, experienced an attack of circumscribed pneumonia with bloody expectoration, or else profuse yellow, creamy, exceedingly sweet mucus, some pains and constriction in right chest, tickling in fauces, worse by eating or from inhalation of dust. Hale chewed the dry leaves and in a few days was well. So he obviously had all them symptoms. He knew this medicine and he said, okay. And he didn't even do it homeopathically. He chewed the leaves. So as long as something's not poisonous, you can do that. And I feel so close to this thing. Anyways, Ouija, I had a buddy that we called him Ouija, of Copenhagen confirms its value in pharyngeal catarrh with profuse serous sputa and hoarseness. So that's all that throat stuff. This guy confirmed it. Doesn't say whether he did a proving with a bunch of people or he himself had this problem and took care of it. So Stana metallicum, that's what is that? Copper? I think it's copper. Cystus. I don't know what that. I don't know how to finish that one. But causticum, phosphorus, sanguinaria, rumex, lachesis, calibic. All these medicines are great flu, cold, lung remedies. All right, let's see. A liver remedy, pharyngeal catarrh with profuse serous sputa and hoarseness. Tickling and irritation of the throat, scraping and rough sensation is a 3. Induces free and easy expectoration. So you take this medicine in your bronchitis or your pneumonia and you'll start coughing up all the mucus and getting it out of you. Viscid, thick, tenacious phlegm causes continued hawking. So they're just always, trying to pull that out because there's a lot of mucus. Soreness of the nostril, sensation about epiglottis as if particles of food remain. So sputa is sweet and creamy. All right, let's go on to the next one. The next one, and I didn't get it. Hogweed is a poison, so herbally, when it's a poison herbally, I can't pull nothing up. And we, as homeopaths, we use poisons all the time. They're some of the best remedies you can have. That last one I did, lachesis, that's a snake poison. That's the bushmaster snake, I think. Anyways, Heracleum Sphondylium. The tincture of the whole plant. What was the other one? It was the leaves, just the leaves. And as you've seen, these guys were chewing the leaves and getting help. They didn't even have to use alcohol or make a tincture or anything. So I'll talk about a guy that I'm going to talk to in a little bit. Well, not in a little bit, but today sometime, hopefully. He's got something Barr disease, Guillain-Barré disease. So I'm gonna, and his immune system is attacking him, and what is that called? Turkey tail will balance your immune system. If your immune system is attacking itself, it will balance. It'll stop that. If your immune system is low and it needs it boosted, it'll increase it. So it's a balancer of the immune. I'm going to mention that to him. If he's not on a drug, if he's on a drug from the doctor, I have to be careful to give herbs and everything. You can really hurt somebody. So, but homeopathically, there's 3 medicines. So I'll talk about that. Heracleum, it's the tincture of the whole plant, was found to exercise a pronounced action on the digestion, producing hunger with the inability to eat. So when they did a proving on it, people would get super hungry, but they'd eat, they couldn't eat. So if you have someone that's sick and they come in, they say, man, I'm just so hungry, but I just can't eat, you would consider Heracleum sphondylium. Nausea, vomiting, colic, and that's probably why they don't want to eat. Diarrhea and pain in the spleen. So this one's a spleen remedy. The other one's a liver remedy. A couple of days ago, I did another spleen remedy. So there, as you can see, there's a lot of remedies for the same organs. It also affected the sexual organs and the skin. All right. Let's see, there's digestive problems with oh, I got that in blue. It should be in black. Heracleum sphondylium. I try to, make the colors different so that I can tell the difference so I don't screw it up. Digestion problem causing hunger with an ability to eat, nausea, vomiting, colic, diarrhea, and pain, and spleen. So, like I said, hepatica and hepatica, the hepatitis, that's the liver, so hepatica, that's why they named that plant like that. Also, sex organs and spleen, headache, and drowsiness. Worse, open air, epilepsy with flatulence and gout and skin symptoms. So you got an epileptic, you got a bunch of medicines for that. This person has gout, which is an acidic nature in the body, and they have skin symptoms, right? And they're a lot of gas, flatulency, they're farting basically. So you got this epileptic flopping around, farting with gout, growths on the bone is what that gout is. Extra calcium is what they call it. And skin symptoms, you would consider Heracleum sphondylium, abdominal and spleen stuff, big time. So that's the abdominal stuff. Hungry, unable to eat, sick headache with drowsiness, worse, moving in open air. So they got this headache, man. It's just making them sick and they just want to lay down and sleep. And if they move around in open air, that headache, it just gets worse. Better tying head up with a cloth. So they want to wrap something around their head. Some of the headaches, they feel like there's a band squeezing their head. This one, they want to tie a cloth around, and probably the same thing, someone to bury their head in the pillow, it just makes that headache feel better. Much perspiration on head, probably with this headache, and violent itching. So this violent itching is basically seborrhea capitis. Capitis. Yeah. Seborrhea capitis, and seborrhea capitis is itching dandruff, basically. And it's white. Some of them it's yellow. I don't know if that one's yellow or white. In the stomach, they have pain with inclination to vomit, bitter risings, and taste. What is that? That's heartburn. So they've got heartburn, a lot of digestion stuff. A characteristic is headache with drowsiness, worse on moving in open air, better by tying the head up with a cloth. So they want to lay down, tie their head up, and don't get into air in any way. Exhaustion, indolence, they're just miserable. I don't blame them. And weakness were complained. So they're weak, exhausted, and miserable. Recommended as a spinal stimulant in epilepsy. That's very interesting. So this is, who would have thought this was good for that? With flatulency, gouty, and skin symptoms. There's no comments on this one, but conium is one. Abies niger is another one you would consider with Heracleum sphondylium. CEAN is I forget, Cianathus, I think it is. In headaches with drowsiness, Cianathus. I think that's the way you say that, the rest of that one. They only give me 4 letters, CEAN, and I have to figure out the rest. Conium was CON. Abies niger. They have Abby's, but Abby's N, and you got to know it's Niger. But anyways, you get to learn this as you're around this enough. Cianasis is headache with drowsiness. Brucea, I don't know what gins is, but Gelsemium, Nat Sulf, Nux muratica, which is, what is that? Nux muratica. Nux muratica. That's it's a spice that you use in your, I think, in a Christmas drink. I forget what it is. Sulfur, but not, all those ones, Gelsemium, Nat Sulf, Nux muratica, and sulfur, Conium, Abies niger, all considered with Heracleum sphondylium. And that's why, as you see, oh, I'm done with this. The board's done. I'm done bending over looking at that. One day I'll have a camera. I'll have it all nice, but it works for now. My goal is just to get this message out. So, I try to get everything in. And I used to rush them because some of the medicines are so big. Like yesterday's was 50 minutes. So I try to rush to get it all in to get, because I'm putting this in my community. So that way when people come in, I got to organize that. They can, have some basic stuff you come in and you look at and you can utilize. Like allergies, you can utilize a thing. I'm just creating an allergy course that I'm going to sell. So, anyways, you can come in and use all that stuff. So when I put these courses, and also, to show people that I put it on YouTube, X, and Facebook, to show people that homeopathic medicine is a viable alternative system of medicine. It's not, herbalism is too. Herbalism. I was watching a lady's video today, which I got to get connected with her to help promote her and all that. So, but she was talking about plantain. Yeah, the one you see them in your yard. They got them little spike-like things that are the seeds coming up around a rosette flower type of or leaf type of thing. Those are great for the skin. She said she made a tincture, and her daughter had something wrong with her gums, and she gave her a dose of that, maybe 10 drops, 5 drops, whatever. And the next day it was all better. So what that plantain does is it sucks the poisons out or sucks the stuff out and makes everything better like that. So very good medicine. So herbally you can cure a lot of stuff, and that's where a lot of the allopathic medicines come from, like say aspirin, willow bark. They were using willow bark for headaches for years, and now they isolated the salicylin, I think is what it is, and that's the active ingredient. They isolated that, made aspirin, which is great, but now it burns a hole in your stomach. And with the actual willow bark, you have a lot more substances in there that work in synergistically, yeah, with the salicylin. Man, I've got all kinds of big words today. So anyways, herbally you can do it, and then homeopathically, if you look at the amount of medicines we have, and there's a whole science behind what I read out of this Materia Medica, and I introduced to you. I'm doing it not for homeopaths or anybody like that. I mean, it could help for them, but I am basically doing it to show people the medicines, and all that stuff I read out of that Materia Medica comes from taking a group of people and giving them the medicine. Whether they were doing it herbally. That's where Hahnemann started. He took it chicona bark herbally because they're like, I don't know why it's working, but it takes care of malaria. He took it herbally, got malaria symptoms. That was his first revelation. Like cures like. Whatever a substance will do to a person physically, a physical substance will do to a person, those symptoms seen in a ill person can be cured with that. Now, he had to find a safer way because some herbs can hurt you. You mix some things, yeah. you got to be careful with herbs. That's all. They work great. I use them all the time. But with homeopathic medicine, like I show you on the board, it's an energy. So they take the herb, they get the tincture, they pull out the like just one drop of that and put it into 99 drops of alcohol or 100 drops of alcohol. They pound it. That succussion is what releases the energy into that alcohol. Then from there, they can put it on sugar tablets like I have. These sugar tablets are easy to transport. And anyways, then they take one of those sugar tablets, that's a 1C. If you do 10 drops of alcohol and put that one drop of that herb in, that's an X. These are all numeric numbers. C is 100 in Roman numerals. C is 100 in Roman numerals. X is 10 in Roman numerals. So now you take one of those little sugar tablets is already diluted out. All that is in there is energy, and there's a bit of the substance, I would imagine, very tiny. You put that into another 99 drops, one sugar tablet into another 100 drops of alcohol, succuss that or pound it. That releases the energy in there and causes it to become a 2C. And you can keep doing that. Once you get up over a 12C, Avogadro's number, this is an Avogadro guy, figured this out, said there's no more substance. So now I'm given a 30C. There's nothing in there but the energy. So how does it work? That medicine I put into you, your body says, oh, what was that? Let's fight this. The vital force is what Hahnemann calls it. We call it the immune system. They call it prana in India. They call it chi in China. So the vital force says, what the heck was that? It rises up to fight it, clears the symptoms, makes the vital force stronger. This illness goes away. You're no longer susceptible to that illness. I mean, you can be. If it's a flu, it comes around in a different form, you're susceptible, but you will be stronger to handle the next iteration of that flu that comes around. So, but anyways, that's the basic principle behind it. And what we're doing, that's why I say we heal a person. We don't fight a disease. I don't really need to know what the disease is. They're calling my buddy. Like I said, I'm going to talk to my buddy. This is the same person I told the lady. She was on Facebook and said, my son's knee's got to go back in for some more surgery or something. And I said, I can help him. And she said, okay. And I talked to him. It was worse by motion. That's bryonia, educated guess. Told him to go get that and take it. He took that, and he didn't have his knee's still good. And that's, I don't know, a year later. I don't know how long later. But so her husband was a childhood friend of mine. He's got to go get blood transfusions. What it is, Jillian's bar, is the immune system ataxia, and that attack cause you to have weak legs, tingling everywhere. It's attacking the outer nerves. So he has to go get a transfusion to keep going. So anyways, 3 medicines: conium, what was the other one? Carcinosum, and thuja were the 3. The 2 that sounded close was carcinosum and conium. So I would have to talk to him, ask him a few questions to try to take a full case. That's what Hahnemann said. You got to take a full case of whatever you're doing so that you can pick the exact right medicine. So I'll just ask him a bunch of questions about everything in his life. When did it start? What came on about then? And it comes from some kind of bacteria or something. So, and that's basically, and I'm just an educator. I'm not a homeopath, but I want to show people that you can begin to use this. Those that are inclined. Most people are like, just educate me on what'll work for what's going on with me. Until the next time you have crap going on, then you won't, But people come into my community, they can start getting acclimated to the whole homeopathic idea. There's a free course with all the basics in it. And there's a lot of information that I got to basically organize. And I'll get the stuff that you can use at the top, like I've got allergies. Oh, there's a whole PDF and all that you can use with that. Then I'm going to create an allergy course where you can get more touch with me and I can talk to you and help you through that. And then eventually a mastermind where everybody that is would like to learn how to arm themselves for the next pandemic, flu, cold, illness, measles. Don't let your kid die, man. I forget the medicines, but there's about a handful of medicines for measles. We got 400 cases in PA. Don't let your kid die, please. Check with a homeopath. I'm sure there's homeopaths. There's a lot in America. It's just not my goal is to get it to be a medicine that's on the forefront of people's minds. So I'm actually I've been trying to get on Channel 2 when they got these little shows that they bring people on that cook or do this or do that. I want to go on there and say, tell them what I've been doing for my family with this, and my goal of bringing people in to show them that they can get a kit, a couple books, and begin taking care of all their family's illnesses. My wife, headache gone, after 10 Tylenol PM. My son's leg was healed like crazy from it. My other son had a spleen thing, just like we're talking about today. Oh, they checked my spleen for cancer. There's no cancer. What's going on? I said, okay, what's the problem? I don't want to even know Jillian Barr like my buddy. I want to know what's going on. When you find out what's going on, he said constipation. Okay, I gave him Illumina, cleared it up in a week. Yeah, so all these things that come up, you can take care of. Allergy is where I started. My kid's eyes swelled shut when I brought a dog home. Gave him a homeopathic remedy. I was brand new. I gave him a combination remedy, and you can use them too. They work great. One of them medicines out of 20 some of them, some medicines, one of them worked. And I think I figured out which one it was. It was Allium cepa. Yeah, because it said eyes swell shut. So one of them worked, which is probably Allium cepa. The other 20 did nothing. That's why I say you give the wrong medicine, it just does nothing. You give the right medicine, man, it's like a miracle. Things clear up. His swelling went down. He's never been allergic again. I said, I got to study this stuff. So now my goal is to get others that would be interested to sit down and say, I want to know more about this. So you can age, but you don't have to get old. Depends on what you eat, how you move, and your stress level. So take care of yourself.